The movie opens with a protest against government environmental policies. The riot was led by a factory worker, Michal, who was against the negligence that resulted in his co-worker Karin to be hospitalized. We see the protesters demanding action to address the issue. Shortly, the protest turned into a fight between the police and the protesters. Michal was also involved in the fight. Then we see Michal going to visit Karin. She was getting ready for surgery. She told him that she doesn't want to complicate his relationship with his daughter because he was going to move to be with her. He told her that he wants to, and that they'd be together after 3 months. In a staple, 2 students were looking at footage of the protest, and they were specifically talking about Michael, saying that he looks possessed. Selma, Michal's daughter, overheard. She was angry about this, and she started a fight with one of the girls. Elise, Selma's mother, is driving to Selma's school after the school called her because of Selma's fight. She found Bryce, her brother, who was also called, and they both went to the principal. Bryce tried to make the situation better by telling the principal, Christian, that Selma would apologize. However, Christian told them that Selma is causing trouble, and other parents are complaining. At their house, Selma and Elise are talking. Ellis starts telling Selma to let her know of such things instead of picking a fight. But Selma was already frustrated by Elise's unwillingness to change her school. Selma went to her dad, and she was making him watch an ASMR video, and they were having fun. After a while, Selma told him that she doesn't want to go to Belgium. He told her Brussels is 2 hours away, and she can come visit. Selma turned on the news, and it was talking about the rain becoming more acidic around Colombia. Michal came and turned the TV off, saying it's always the same thing. Elise is in her car with Selma, stuck in traffic while raining. Then, a car in front of her hit her car in the front and started to drive away, and she got out of the car to talk to them and got herself wet from the rain. She went to a place she works in and apologized for showing up like that. Elise is sitting alone in her house with her earphone plugged when she hears water dripping from Selma's room, and she quickly goes there. She saw that the window was open and the rain was getting into the house through the window. She closed the window and put a towel on the floor. She then sent a voice message to Selma asking if she is fine. After this, we see the towel on the floor changing color, indicating the acidic rain was progressing towards France too. Selma went on a road trip that her school organized. She left their phone because cell phones were not allowed. Elise's colleague showed her that acidic rain was causing trouble, and she was concerned about Selma. She called Michael to ask him to drive her to Selma because her car was in the garage, but he said he was working. On the trip, Selma was having trouble riding her horse. The trip leader told her that they can't wait for her, and he took her horse, leaving his horse and Selma behind, telling her he'll come back for her. Michal finally decides to go with Elise to Selma's school. While they were on their way, Elise started an argument saying that he took Selma away the entire weekend. He told her that Selma was old enough to decide where she wanted to be. They reached the school and Elise got out of the car. Then she came back and told Michael to follow a Jaguar that was leaving. She told him that she has the address of the staple that Selma can be found in. Selma was standing in the forest waiting for the trip leader to come back. On the other hand, Michal and Elise were stuck in traffic because of a blockage. Elise got out of the car and she saw a heavy fog and storm and knew that it was going to rain. Michal also saw that, and he started driving on the sidewalk to reach her before the rain. He did, and she got in the car and they started driving to the forest to get Selma. When they were halfway on the grass road, they saw that there was no path. Michal got out of the car and started running to the forest while Elise tried to find a path. We see Selma running in the forest while Michal is running to the staple to find her. He repeatedly called her name, but he didn't get an answer. After a while, Selma reached the staple and started calling her dad. He met her halfway and took her to the staple. Then it starts to rain. Michal called Elise and told her that they were in the hangar. She came and they all got in the car and left. There was a blockage on the road and people were screaming because of a burn caused by the acidic rain. Some people tried to get into their car, but Michal pushed them away. They drove away and parked in a supermarket's parking spot. Elise called Bryce and told him that they were 50 kilometers north to Arras, and he told her that they should be going east. He got angry when she told him that she was with Michal. Bryce then called Michal and asked if the car could handle the trip, and Michal said yes. After the call with Bryce, Michal tried to call Karin, but it went straight to voicemail. They started driving, and after a while they figured out that the car won't hold up and they can't reach Bryce. They got out of the car, but the back door stuck, and Selma had to break it to get out. They went to the nearest house, but there was no one there. Michal looked around, but he couldn't find anyone. Selma found a kitten sitting. Michal went out and called Karin. He told her that he'd come to where she was, and the video call got disconnected while they were talking. After that, he got in and started looking for bottled water in the refrigerator water, but couldn't find any. He tried to find out if the tap water is acidic or not, but couldn't figure it out, so he put it in a container and gave it to the kitten. Elise and Selma came and saw the kitten drinking the water. He explained he was trying to find out if the water was acidic or not, and Elise agreed it was the right thing to do, while Selma got angry. Elise found bottled water, and she gave it to Selma. Michael wrapped an aluminum foil around Selma's shoe to protect her from the acidic rain. After that, he went to the back and saw the container he used to give the water to the kitten was half melted. He threw that away and went to Selma. He was drinking champagne, and Elise came and joined them. They started talking about their next destination. Selma asked if she called the guy that was coming to pick them up, but Elise said he can't come before tomorrow. Selma got worried, saying what if he doesn't come, and what if the rain goes to the east too? Elise told her that Bryce would take care of them, and Michael made a sarcastic comment about that and told Elise that Bryce won't always help her, leading Elise and Michael to have a verbal fight. Selma woke up suddenly and saw there was a trail of liquid thing on the floor, and she followed it. Then she saw that the kitten was dead. After seeing this, she went back to Elise and slept. In the morning, they got up and started their journey. Elise was talking to the person who is supposed to pick them up, asking how far he can come. There were other people who were also going, and police were blocking people, saying the bridge couldn't handle a lot of people at the same time. Even though the police were trying to stop them, the people started pushing, and Elise got separated from Selma and Michael. The crowd kept pushing, and Elise found herself on the bridge, but the bridge couldn't hold that much weight, so it started crumbling down. Elise started going back, but the guardrail failed, causing Elise to fall into the water. Selma ran to the water after seeing her fall. Elise attempted to swim out, but the water burned her flesh, and she failed. Selma could not save her either. Michael came and hugged Selma to comfort her while she cried. Selma and Michael went to a refugee camp, and Michael charged his phone to call Karen. He told her Elise died, and she told him that they were transferring them to another hospital in Antwerp. Michael asked one of the soldiers which convey he should take to reach Antwerp, but he told him there is none, but the closest to Antwerp would be Fernelmont, and he decided to take that. He went to Selma and told her that they would be going to Antwerp to get Karen, but she said they should go to Metz to her uncle. He told her that her uncle wasn't picking up, and she agreed. They got into the convoy and started going, but it stopped in the middle because there was a blockage, and the soldiers told the people that they could only walk after. They all got out of the car and started walking, and Selma got tired and couldn't keep walking. While all this was happening, the storm clouds gathered, showing that rain was on the way. Michael tried to make Selma walk fast, but she fell on the ground. After picking her up, they lost the people that they were going with and lost their way. They kept running in the forest to find a shed from the rain. They found a narrow dale and entered it. They continued walking and discovered a way out on the other side. They knocked on the houses nearby, but no one was there. While they were walking, Michael passed out and fell, and Selma began to scream for help. Someone from a nearby house let them in, and they rested. The owner of the house is Deborah, and she lives with her son William. When Michael woke up, Selma gave him water, and he took it after making sure it wasn't tap water. After that, Deborah told him that his wounds should be taken care of, and they went to the bathroom together. William came to Selma and asked her name. After she told him, he asked if she wanted to play, and she said yes. Michael tried to charge his phone in the bathroom, but Deborah told him that it barely works. He asked how far they were from Antwerp, and she told him they were 100 kilometers to the west from Antwerp. Then she asked for his shoe size and went to get him shoes. He told her that they will be leaving soon. In the living room, Selma touched a machine without knowing what it was, and Deborah came screaming, asking what she touched. She keeps explaining that she didn't touch anything, and Michael overheard and came. Deborah asked both of them to leave, and Selma left. Michael stayed and told Deborah that she can't stay here either. She told him she doesn't have an option. They then moved the machine to the basement. The machine was for people with kidney failure, and it's for William. Deborah was happy when she plugged the machine, and it worked. She said she can settle here with her son, and told Selma and Michael they can spend the night in her garage. She told them she couldn't give them food because she needed to save for herself and William, so Michael broke into nearby houses to find food. Selma and Deborah are sitting while they watch William on the bed. Selma asked what the machine is for, and she told her that it does the work of his kidney. Then Deborah asked Selma about her mother. She didn't say anything. Deborah then told her it could be dangerous for them to leave tomorrow, and went to William's bed. Michael is listening to a voicemail sent from Karen. She mentioned that they would arrive in a hospital in Antwerp, and she also told him that there was no coverage. Selma came and told him that Deborah said they can stay for a few days, but he said it is better to keep her away since she doesn't even want to share food. Also, they have to go to Karen, but Selma said they can't because of the rain, and Michael insisted, saying she needs us. Then Selma said that she won't go, but he said she has to. They all sat to have dinner, and Michael sensed something and asked what was wrong. Deborah didn't say anything, but he knew it was because he broke into someone else's house to get food, and he said I had to do it. He also told her that her house can't hold up any longer and that she should do something. William asked if that was true. Then Deborah got up and told him to come with her, and they left the room. Michael went to the kitchen to talk to her, but she brushed him off. Deborah put William to bed and asked if he was comfortable. She asked if what Michael said was true, and she said it's all nonsense and that he'd be leaving. Michael and Selma were in the garage when Michael heard a sound from the house, and he went there to check, and the house was falling down. Selma came and started knocking on the basement door to wake Deborah and William up. Michael tried to break the door, but he couldn't. After a while, the roof fell down, and Michael started to pull Selma to get out of the house. She said she can't leave without Deborah and William, but he took her to the garage and got in Deborah's car and drove away. The rain was too heavy, and he couldn't see the road. The electric system of the car was also malfunctioning. They ended up losing their way. Selma was angry because they left Deborah and William, and she started shouting at Michael. He was also frustrated because of everything that was happening, and he screamed at her to shut up and got out of the car. Selma also got out of the car and started running. Michael didn't see that she was out. After a while, it started raining, and Michael got back to the car, but Selma wasn't there. He started calling her name, but he didn't get an answer. He got in the car and started shouting, looking for her. Selma, on the other hand, was stuck in the mud because of the acidic rain and had no way to return. Michael called her name, and she started calling back. He followed her voice and got there. He carried her on his back and began walking towards the car. The acid burned his legs, but he kept walking and placed her on top of the car. She then pulled him, and he climbed on top of the car as well. She tried to call for help, but no one was around. In the morning, a military truck came and picked them up. Michael got admitted to a hospital. Selma walked to an information desk and asked for Bryce, but he could not be found. Then she asked for Karen, but was told she had died. Selma asked to see her father and got into his room. He asked if they found Karen, and she told him they didn't. He asked her to stay, and they both lay there in silence, finding comfort in each other's presence as they faced the uncertain future together. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.